Hello there, my name is Anna Lundberg and I'm the founder of One Step Outside, where we help people around the world create a business and build a lifestyle that brings them more freedom, flexibility and fulfillment. And today I want to talk to you about the challenge of balancing a full-time job on the one hand with a new business or a so-called side hustle on the other. So I want to talk you through 5 tips that I have to help you balance. Now, the first one is to clarify your why, because let's face it, it is going to be difficult. You're adding this new business onto a very full plate already, with a full-time job that's going to be demanding of your time and energy, with potentially a family and hobbies and fitness and so on. So really getting clear on why you're starting this business, why it's important to you and what it's going to bring you as you work on it, but also ultimately when you succeed in getting it up and running, why is that important to you? What is going to change in your life when that happens? So number 1 is to clarify your why. Now, number 2 is to get very clear on your priorities, because however important that why is that we just talked about in number 1, there are all these other important things and even more so people who matter in your life. Now, when it comes to work priorities, if your new business is not yet bringing in money, then probably, at least in the short term, your current work is still your priority. So that's one thing to bear in mind. And then, of course, you have your health, you have your partner, you have your children and so on. And perhaps those come higher in the list of priorities than this new business as well. So it's up to you to define what those priorities are, but getting clear on those up front will really help you to make those difficult priority calls later on, make those compromises and know that you know what, at some point, maybe you just have to take a step back from the business and do what you have to do in the area of your family or whatever it is that's a bigger priority. Now 3 and 4 are connected. So number 3 is to plan when you're going to work on your business, and number 4 is to plan when you're not going to work on your business. And those 2 are equally important. You already have a really busy calendar, busy schedule, so it's really critical to sit down, look at your calendar, find those slots in the day when you think you can actually work on your business. Some things are going to require more time and energy than others. Strategy and planning and so on will require a more dedicated time and space to work on it, whereas maybe on the commute you can listen to podcasts, you can brainstorm some ideas on a quick piece of paper, or you can message people on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram and so on. So that's planning when you're going to work on your business, and of course bearing in mind your natural body clock as well. Now you also want to plan when you're not going to work on your business. So again, remembering all those other priorities in your life, your family in particular, when are you going to not be checking your phone all the time and working in your business? Perhaps you can establish some ground rules with your partner, with your children if you have them, in terms of not having your phone at dinner, on your holidays, during your daughter's football match or whatever it is. Set some boundaries, both for the important relationships in your life and for your own sanity. Again, when the initial euphoria and excitement of starting the business maybe settles, which it inevitably does, you're just going to be faced with a hard work. And doing little bits consistently over a long period of time is going to be critical to you succeeding. So you don't want to burn out by pushing yourself too hard too quickly. And the final one, number 5, related to that as well, is to be patient. Because look, there are advantages to running the business alongside your full-time job in terms of security of income and so on, and that you can explore and validate your idea and bring in clients, and there's no pressure to bring in those immediate sales. However, the obvious disadvantage is that you won't have as much time as you want to dedicate to the new business. You may feel like you're really juggling everything and not being able to give your all to anything. And let's face it, results will come slower, more slowly than if you were able to dedicate your full time and energy to this business. So accept that. Keep the big vision, the big why in mind. Know that you're working towards this future goal and you're going to have plenty of time to enjoy that once you actually get there. So those are my 5 tips to help you balance out your full-time job on the one hand with your new business idea or business, however far along that is, on the other hand. Now do check out my blog over at onestepoutside.com. I have lots of past articles and resources for you in terms of time management, balancing the work-life integration and so on. And if you're interested in working with me as your coach, just ping me a direct message and we can talk about potentially getting you set up for success now towards the end of the year and of course into 2019 as well. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next week.